So what can I say except prevail? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. I wanted to take a little bit of time today to make some early game content just because we've been talking a lot about more end game stuff lately, and I don't know, there's a lot of things that people are considering in the early game that kind of get left by the wayside. Everyone just kind of assumes they're like, okay, you're going to have all the GLs eventually, you're going to have all this stuff, and so we don't have to worry about the initial relics. But the idea here is certain characters are going to actually impact your roster in a pretty significant way, and if you have them relicked, or if you don't, you're going to be lacking. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about like some of these targets that we want to get. Now, is this the definitive list of the first 10 characters that you have to put relics on? The answer is no, and I'm not putting them in any order. I'm just saying these are characters that are going to immediately impact certain aspects of the game immediately if you can actually get them relicked. My Prevail Man account, that's my 2.6 million GP account, doesn't even have all of these relics. So, to each his own. There's a lot of different starting strategies, and I just want to talk about which ones you want to put on early. Just I don't know, kind of something to get you guys thinking. So that being said, folks, before we get going, just want to remind you, please hit that thumbs up button. We're trying to ride the algorithm, and it's been working. It's been awesome. Just really appreciate you guys, and if you can hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment in the comments area, or even just hit the sub button, ding the bell. Just don't do it. Don't do that. Okay, let's go to the game, shall we, guys? Let's do it. We're gonna get ready. Whoa, we're in the game. Whoa. I was even ready, and that was a shock. All right, guys. First character that is going to benefit from early relics is Darth Vader. I know he just got a nerf, and I realize that he's only half a man, but the idea here, folks, is he is still super impactful, especially early game. You want to be farming him early and often, because he's going to be relevant regardless. Like, okay, so he doesn't kill Galactic Legends anymore. He still kills everything else. He is still really strong. And one theme that you guys will notice in my discussion here is most of these characters, he's also a pilot. We need to be focusing on ships early on on any early account. I think that's super important. I'm at 2.6 million GP on my Prevail Man account, and I'm gonna need 4 fleets here pretty soon in the next division. It's madness, and it scares the heck out of me. So one of the ways we do that, one of the ways we get ready for it, we can't just get ready for it all at once. You need to start preparing over time. And so having good ships, especially a good Empire fleet early on, is really going to be helpful. So Darth Vader, he kills everything, especially everyone's farming Geos for the starting accounts. Darth Vader kills Geos. He just does. He's great. Now, I realize that not everyone's going to have him Relic 8. This is not a commentary on how many relics you need on these characters. My Prevail Man account has Relic 0 on him. My alt account, that's a little bit higher up, has Relic 3 on him. My main account has Relic 8. So, who knows? Who knows what he's supposed to have, but next up is General Grievous, as my 3-year-old would call him, Geniful Grievous. He is a really impactful character in early games, so you need to be farming him early on. He's it takes 7 months to farm him if you farm him consistently from the ship store. Don't do it from the shard shop. It's worthless. So the awesome thing about General Grievous is once he gets to relics, and I put him at relic 3 on my alt and my Prevail Man account, and that's enough for now. He's a capital ship pilot, which is super nice, which you're gonna want that ship as soon as you can get him. But also on top of that, he is able to just do a ton of damage even if the rest of his team sucks. Like, all you have to do is put a bunch of really bad droids with him that kind of stagger their survivability levels, and so they get killed by your opponent, and he does his blender move, and then another droid dies and he does his blender move, and he does that like 4 or 5 times in a row. And once he does that 4 or 5 times in a row, not a lot of teams are going to be left alive. So really nice utility piece there, not to mention he's a pilot of a capital ship. So really nice if you can actually do it, and he fits in really well. If you're gonna go get like General Skywalker, you're gonna have to farm other droids. You want General Grievous to be their commander. Not to mention he's like an invalid. He coughs a lot. Han Solo just shrugs, like, what? So, Han Solo, great guy to have even at lower relics. He's nice, or even at lower gear levels, just because he always shoots first. However, if you put that Zeta on him, you get some relic levels on him, especially the jump from relic 12, or gear 12 to relic 0. Gear 12 to 13 I can count, guys. I promise that I can count somewhat. But he gains another 1,000 physical offense, which is huge. And then, of course, mods start actually impacting it. Like, so mine is modded for offense decently well, but 8,200 at relic 7. But that jump from gear 12 to gear 13, it is an enormous jump, and he does a lot of damage. Also, if you go with the route of having the Rebel fleet early on in the game, the Falcon really benefits from that. So he's a nice character. He helps you unlock Palpatine and stuff. I guess he doesn't really. He's not going to be one of your first Relic 7 characters, or 7-star characters, my bad. But he's just very nice. He's one of the workhorses, guys. This is one of the best characters in the game, in fact, just because of how much utility he has always had, from being able to shoot first and being the pilot of one of the best ships in the game, and being able to do a ton of damage. He can just rattle off so many shots. It's very impressive. The Han Solo is actually a thing. Alright, Enfys Nest is one that's maybe up for debate. She is really rough to gear all the way, once you get her to gear 11, it is super rough to get her to gear 13. But once you do, and I'd recommend getting her to Relic 2 early on if you can, Enfys Nest, or maybe 3 if you wanted to, but get her a lot of tenacity and make her slow. You don't even have to have speed on your tenacity mods. 6E mods are nice on her, but the idea here, guys, is especially in GAC, she's going to be able to solo teams in 5v5 and 3v3 for a long time. So if you get her relic early, she's going to be a workhorse for you. And if you don't need to solo things, you want to go a little more defensive, people early game really struggle to beat her because she has mechanics that are not necessarily intuitive. Now, it's easy enough to beat her if you know how to do it, but if you don't, she can be a PETA to take out, and she does a ton of damage. She's a lot of fun. Even endgame, I still use her. I just use her with a Bando team. She doesn't solo things anymore too much. Now, we've got Bosk here. Bosk is another one of those characters. I've always thought the bounty hunters were one of those foundational squads. You really want to have Bosk as early as you can, in my opinion. You want to get him up to Relic 0 is probably enough. People say that because of his ship, and his ship is one of the best in the game right now. It's still the best tank. It just is. People say that you want to put more relics on him because it makes his ship more survivable, and I kind of agree, but I think you're going to be doing yourself more of a favor by getting him 6E mods, and I know that I'm being a hypocrite here because he has a couple mods that aren't 6E here, but he's Relic 7 on here. I think Relic 0, though, I mean, my main account, or my alt account, and my Prevail main account both have Relic 0. That's enough. Like, that makes the Houndstooth enough, survivable enough. Now, once you want to get the Executor unlocked and everything, of course you're going to want relics on him, but he is one of those guys who commands that bounty hunter team, and if he is tanky, like he should be, then he's going to make the rest of that bounty hunter team just super ridiculously awesome. So, Bosk and is the pilot of one of the best ships in the game. No brainer in my opinion. This is one of the very first Zetas that I would recommend for people. Emperor Palpatine first, maybe one like Merciless Massacre on Vader, and then probably Bosk lead are the first three I would recommend for people, just as a side note. Okay, so those are the first 5. Let's go to the next, guys. Next up, Jedi Knight Anakin. He is amazing. A lot of people want to get Padme early on, and that Padme squad is really strong, but he really benefits from at least like Relic 0. Relic 3 is probably right around where you could leave him after you've gotten some relic levels, whatever. But the awesome thing about him is he's also a pilot of one of the best ships in the game, surprise, and one of the best fleets in the game, especially one of the best fleets that's accessible to early-ish game players. If you can unlock Negotiator, you want to save all those GET2 mats that you're getting, you want to unlock Negotiator as quick as you can, and then we have Anakin able to take people out really hard in both Squad Arena and in fleets. But the awesome thing about him in Squad Arena is, he goes... If you want to use him with a Padme squad, which, there's no reason to use him otherwise. Like, you need him with Padme. He generally wants some damage mods. Now, I think maybe I should put some health mods on him. I haven't decided yet. I've been considering that transition, but the thing is, Padme gives him an extra 50% health, and he needs all the health he can get, frankly. Like, he's kind of squishy without a bunch of health, and so if you can get him up to relic levels, he's going to have way more health, and he's going to be way more survivable, and that's why you want him at relic levels. Not to mention, his ship is just so much better once he's relic 0. Geobrood Alpha is a great one. A lot of people go for Geos early on. I know Prevail Man did not really do that, but I do still have a Brood Alpha at like Gear 8 or something. And the awesome thing about Brood Alpha is you also get the Brute alongside it. So it's 2 different characters, and as you level up the Brood Alpha, you also level up the Brute. So one character that is, you get a twofer. You get to upgrade 2 characters for the price of 1. Really a no-brainer to get to relics, kind of. Neither of my alts have him at relics, but that's just me being a hypocrite. I think that early game relic Geobrood Alpha, very, very tough to counter, even for Darth Vader. Crew is a character that is really nice because, you guessed it, his ship is awesome. It's one of the best offensive powerhouses in the game, and it is actually very good with a lot of different fleets, as long as he can get a lot of turns, which he's kind of that ship can get anyways. That's a really good target. The other nice thing about relics on him, and I would, if you're going to go the crew route, you can get him. I'd get him up to like relic 5 or something, frankly, because he becomes so tough to kill. Like, you put defense mods plus health primaries, and he becomes this engine of non-destruction. Here's the thing, guys. If he's the lead, and you need to have his lead Zeta, but once you do that, he gets... Let's see, every time a First Order ally, that includes himself, gains a status effect, they recover 5% health and 5% protection. So every time he gets... So, like, the Commander Luke team is always putting debuffs on and reducing turn meter and doing all this stuff, and he's healing 5% health and protection every single time. That combined with his Scarred thing, which is when Kylo takes damage, he recovers 8% health, which means that he is he's healing himself 13% of his health and to 5% of his protection, like every time he's getting hit, maybe even more depending on how many status effects he's getting. He is really tough to take out in the early game. I've had to just like, okay, we're gonna have to two-shot this. We'll kill the rest of his team first, and then we'll send in a team with healing immunity to take him out. Like Prevail Man has had to two-shot crew teams just because he is so tough to beat in the early game. Like there's not many squads that beat him early game. Now he gets less useful later on, but if you want to unlock Supreme Leader Kylo, he's pretty useful anyways. You do need him at relic levels though, because Commander Luke teams will just take out a Gear 12 crew, as will Ewoks actually. Like even Gear 11 Ewoks will take out a Gear 12 crew. So you need him at relics, and you need him at decent enough relics that he's not just going to get punked. Dark Trooper is another character that you don't... I would say like Relic 2 is enough. Like my alt has been using just him. The rest of his Imperial Trooper squad is just not that good. Like they're all Gear 11 in fact. And as long as you can have the right speed and everything, Dark Trooper, even at Relic 2, is going to just punch a lot of things to death. Now he's not a world beater on his own. You need the right setup with Imperial Troopers. But if you have the right Zetas, you don't have to put a lot of gear on the troopers themselves. Just put Relic 2 on Dark Trooper and he is going to go to town. Lazy Trooper is what I call him, because he does his, when he goes to do his basic, he has to like do his little jet forward thing. He can't like walk there. He's too cool for that. Grandmaster Yoda is another one, folks. He is great at, I would say just like Relic 0. Honestly, if you wanted to make him a little bit better, like Relic 3 is a nice target. Relic 2, something, I mean, the more offense he has, the better, obviously. But the thing about Grandmaster Yoda isn't necessarily how much damage he does, which he can do a lot of damage, but a lot of it has to do with how well he can just manipulate turn meter and be able to take a million, billion, zillion, Brazilian turns. So you can, you don't actually need to put really fast mods on him, which is another nice thing early game. You don't need fast mods because he's giving himself so much turn meter that he doesn't actually operate off of his own speed anyways. He's operating off of turn meter that everyone else is handing to him. So Grandmaster Yoda, great target for early relics. Prevail Man doesn't have him there, but he probably should. He's really good. And the thing that's hard about it, guys, is his relics, or at least his Gear 11 pieces, don't actually help him at all. They're just like perversely difficult to get, and they don't actually help him at all. It's annoying. And then you get to Gear 12, that stuff actually helps, and once you get him to 13, obviously he starts hitting like a truck. I mean, Gear 11 is still pretty nice for him, frankly, but Gear 13, significantly better, way more offense available. And that is it for today, folks. We've got those 10. I am sure that we have more that you guys think that should be reliced earlier than this, and I welcome that discussion. You know, be respectful in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think. What did I miss? What reasons do you guys have for doing these things? I don't know, like General Kenobi, I probably missed him. He's like a bonus one. You know, old Daka, maybe she should be. I don't know. I'm thinking about making a new player guide, though, once they finish all this gear stuff, all the gear revamp. I'm thinking about making, like, so start of the new year. I'm considering it. Let me know what you think of that, too, guys. So thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.